Hello and welcome back to the channel. I'm Howard of ForderLearnToFly. Today's just a short ad-lib session, not scripted, 7 steps to get going with SimVenture. We've noticed that a number of people are very confused. It's a very complicated document. There's a lot of stuff to get to know. People are making mistakes left and right. And even in the live AirVenture, there are people making mistakes. What better way to practice than in the sim? And now I'm going to show you the 7 steps to help you practice, to make it easier, to get a direction so you can get to know how to make everything happen without all the complications. But also, by the time you finish these 7 steps, you'll be very confident in what needs to be done so that you can still do the SimVenture live event in your simulator from home. And you would understand fully what would happen at the AirVenture live event, the real airplanes, the 10,000 pilots that ascend at Oshkosh. So let's get started with that. I'm going to go straight into the 7 steps, and then I'm going to do some demonstrations and keep this video as short as possible. And let's see where we can go from there. So let's move over to this screen, and we can now just do the briefing part of it. I'm not going to go through the whole manual. That's a lot of stuff. We're going to just give you what you need to know. So this 7-step preparation so that you can get through it. Let's find out what Oshkosh is first. SimVenture versus AirVenture. And my 7 steps that I'm recommending for you to practice ahead of time before you go live and have all that nervousness that some of you do have. So here are the 7 steps in front of you right here. Let's take a look at these briefly for now, and we'll go into each one in great detail. First, you're going to be registering if you're new, or log in if you already have a Pilot Edge subscription, and go to pilotedge.net/SimVenture. That's our first step. Then from there, you're going to download the client and configure it. If you're new to Pilot Edge, or if you already have Pilot Edge and you're using it, then you would just simply go in and make sure that it's still configured and working right. Now you're going to, while you're still on that page, you're still going to download both sceneries. There's a heavier scenery or a normal one, and then there's a light version, which many of us had to use the light version. It's such a heavy scenery, it affects your frame rates. And it's very important that we get our frame rates correct. So we're going to go see what that's all about. I ended up with this the light version. And then we're also going to download the notice. I'm still calling it here the NOTAM, but it's properly called the notice, which is the document we need for SimVenture, for our simulator, your specific brand of simulator, so that we know how to configure things and get things working. And I'm going to give you a brief on that. Again, I'm giving you summary stuff here. You got to read that whole manual eventually. Install the full scenery in your sim and spawn at a parking spot near runway 36. Just for testing. And the whole idea is we're going to be testing it to see if our FPSs are right, to see if our frame rates are correct. If we can't get at least 20, which many of you will be surprised, you will not get 20, then you have to go to the light version of the scenery. So you got to take out the heavy one, which is just a folder, put in the light version into that community folder, and then you can actually run and it'll be okay. So that's why we're doing this first. We're installing the full scenery, going to a parking spot. You can even check your frame rate at this point, even without flying, because all the scenery is there in front of you, right? You might be surprised, right? Now, without connecting to Pilot Edge, we'll start up the plane and depart 36 properly. That's what I'm going to show you, all right? Head to our first insertion point on the FISK approach, and we'll go to Green Lake just to give you an idea what that's like. And we're testing our FPS. Let's see what that looks like, because if we can't maintain 20 or above for our frames per second, we're going to be slow and they're going to kick us off the network. So let's test it now while we still have simulator and not Pilot Edge running. Again, without connecting to Pilot Edge, practice all insertion points. There's 4 different insertion points. Know how to get to them, how to insert yourself into the stream. And then all the runways. There's 4 different runways that you can be asked to land on at any time. So after these 7 steps, you're fully prepared for your live Pilot Edge sessions over the 4 days of SimVenture. At this point, I'm at day 2. We already did day 1 yesterday live on Twitch. I'll give you some excerpt of that. We'll actually do a landing on 27 from that session. But a lot of questions came up about how to prepare for this properly using your simulator without the pressure of Pilot Edge, without the pressure of controllers talking to you, without the pressure of everybody in line and you're messing them up. So that's what we want to do. So we still got 3 days ahead of us, later today, tomorrow, and Sunday, right? As it is right now in 2024. So that's the plan. All right, so let's come back to here. What is Oshkosh? Every pilot in real life wants to attend Oshkosh and do the famous FISK approach. FISK is actually a town. We're going to talk about that, but it's called the FISK approach because it comes through that town and it spaces out the airplanes and it brings them in sequentially, one after the other, and we can also land simultaneously one after the other using dots on the runway. We can see a couple of dots here, and by the colors of them I can see this is runway 27, and you can see they would give you a dot to land on. This becomes your threshold. If they told us to land on the green dot, we would land on or after it as our threshold, as if it were the numbers. And that way they can land a plane up here, they can also land a plane back here. That's how congested they get. They got a special permit for that. You're also going to find out that we don't have to talk on the radio. We rock our wings, we acknowledge what they say, we never touch the mic button unless they ask us a question. Kind of interesting, isn't it? So here's what it looks like, a real picture of the event. I was there last year at the real Oshkosh event, and boy, is that ever exciting. All these planes came in on the FISK approach, all these planes had to land, and they came and they pitched their tent and they stay there for the whole 10 days or so. So Oshkosh is an airport code KOSH. It's at Whitman Field, Wisconsin. This is named after Steve Whitman, who was a manager there back in the 60s and 70s. And he brought this whole EAA fly-in to Whitman Field. And they named the airport after him. And you can see that name right up on the passenger terminal of the airport. Home of the famous annual fly-in event for general aviation. This is the real thing, where 10,000 planes attend and hundreds of thousands of people show up, and we sleep in tents. And for some of us, I went there by a commercial flight, so I didn't have an airplane in the event last year, but I camped over in the campsite with my tent, and I went and found friends and flew with them. So that's one way to do it. So two benefits of recreating it in our home flight simulators: we can learn how they sequence so many planes at once by actually performing the approach all the way into Kosh. And secondly, we can practice landing on a specific dot. Not necessarily exactly on the dot, but that's our threshold. Land after it, right? Improve our skill at landing specifically. So there's this notice, which I still call NOTAM. Most of my pilot friends call it NOTAM still, because we've been calling it that for three. We've been calling it that for 30 years. And so it's hard to actually call it notice, but that's the new modern name for it. This one here is made for your simulator, whatever version of simulator you're running. X-Plane, Prepare 3D, or Prepared, FSX, and Microsoft's Flight Simulator, MSFS, or FS 2020 as we call it. And next year it'll also be for FS 2024. So this is called SimVenture, which is similar to the real event. The real event is called AirVenture. This is called SimVenture because we're using simulators for it, right? And this happens the week prior to the real thing. So this is it. I'm right in the middle of the 4 days right now. And then next week they start the real AirVenture, where all the pilots are heading in there. So SimVenture event for flight simulators happens in the week prior to that. Open to all Pilot Edge subscribers, including free trials. You can go get a free trial without any obligation and then let it expire. And you can try the FISK approach, and that's the whole idea behind it. Open to all 4 flight simulator brands. A special scenery for each type of simulator that you have to install, and we have to be able to use a button for our microphone to speak. It could be your keyboard, could be on your yoke, it could be wherever, right? Now there is a special seaplane base and a warbirds arrival for this event. We're not talking about it today. We're going to do the fixed wing approach to one of the 4 runways, and we're going to do 2 examples of that today. Professional air traffic control for flight simulators. That's what Pilot Edge is, and predominantly used every day on the west coast of the USA, and live trained professional controllers. And a lot of us, airline pilots all the way down to GA pilots like I am, will use this to keep the phraseology and to keep things fresh between flights. As a GA pilot who has to rent planes, I can't be out in airplanes every day. I can't afford to do that. So I would use Pilot Edge with my simulator and still get the phraseology, still fly into the same airport, still do the same sort of things. So when I'm back in a real plane, I'm not fumbling and trying to get back into the groove again. That's why we use it, right? There are other alternatives, of course. There's VATSIM, there's sayintentions.ai, which I use on my Twitch streams. Those are all great resources. But this is Pilot Edge with professional controllers used for this event, specifically those 10 days at AirVenture. And they're also the same controllers used for our SimVenture. We're getting the real thing in our microphones in the simulator. Pretty cool. All right, area familiarization. I want to do this first. I want to get you an idea of where we're going and what we're doing. So let's just start from here. Number one is the focus of it all. This is Oshkosh, the city of Oshkosh, and the airport is right here. All right, right beside us is Winnebago, Lake Winnebago. All right, way over here is Lake Michigan. So we're going to fly the FISK approach at one of these 4 insertion points. 1, 2, 3. Actually, we're not showing the 4th one way down here. But this is FISK, the village of FISK right here. A little tiny spot where the controllers are set up with a trailer and some tents and some picnic tables, and they are watching us with binoculars as we come overhead, and they're going to send us down one way or the other. There's the essence of it all, right there from FISK. And we're going to come in from Ripon, Green Lake, whatever, coming back. We'll talk about those according to the manual. Also, when we depart here, we're going to always depart to the south, away from all that incoming traffic that's coming in on both sides, always to the south. And even in real life last year, people were exiting out this way and exiting wrongly and doing what they thought was a go-around. They didn't read the manual. So there was a mess last year in real life because they weren't following the directions. Here's an airport to the south called Fond du Lac. This one is a common one to fly into. And years ago, I did this. I flew into Fond du Lac, camped there. And then when the morning, when the airport opened, I went and did the FISK approach and came in and landed at Oshkosh and then met my friends. So that, you know, this is a very common airport for people to fly into. There's other municipal airports around the area that you can go in and fly in and stay overnight. All right, that gives you an idea. Here it is in the sim. I'm using Microsoft's Flight Simulator for this demonstration, and it's similar in the other sims. Same geography, of course. There's Oshkosh right there. And you can see it does have some POIs here, as they call it in the sim. Here's our 4 insertion points. One of the 4, depending on how busy it is at the moment when you're flying, where ATIS will tell us which insertion point to start at. And we follow this line all the way up to FISK, and FISK will then send us off in the right direction. This is the gates at Oshkosh. I've been here. I got some live photos of it, of me at these gates in front of a bunch of people. Here it is in the sim. This is the 22 version, but it looks exactly the same in the 24 version, the 23 version. And this is what we'll see. And now let's go take a look at the airport. I'm going to go fast. This is the pace people want me to do. They like it fast. They can scrub it. They can pause it. They can do whatever they need, but they don't want it to drag on. So I'm just giving you a brief introduction. Let's get on with it and go fly, right? And so that's what we're going to be doing here. So again, there's the city of Oshkosh to the north. There's Fisk Avenue to the south. We would be coming in from the right and landing here, or coming in from the right and landing over here, or coming up the railroad tracks, which you can't see. We'll be coming up railroad tracks and coming down this way to 27, or we'll be coming straight in this way to 09. There's our 4 runways that we can do, and that's covered in these 4 days. That's covered, and you can pick the day you want to try a different runway. All right, that's for SimVenture for us in the sim. In real life, the runway that's active in ATIS will be the runway that perfectly aligns or closely aligns to wind, and so it could change even on the hour. So you listen to ATIS on a regular basis. Here's the main focus of the whole fly-in exhibit, expo, whatever you want to call it. This is where the thousands of people are, right here, away from the public terminal. It's the public terminal way over here for Whitman, where commercial flights could still come in and out, I guess. I don't know if they still do, but I think it's way too busy. I think you have to go fly out of other airports. Pioneer Airport, Pioneer Field is this one right here, this grass strip, not used for fixed wing during this event because people are all around here, and people can come out of here with helicopters for helicopter flights out to this end, out to the west, but it's not used for fixed wing and it's not used for STOL. They do have a STOL landing strip here that they have going the whole time for STOL competitions right up here. And this is the EAA headquarters, Experimental Aircraft Association headquarters, which last year I spent a lot of time in there filming the Redbird simulation setups that they had there with flight instructors. That gives you an idea where we're at. This is the focus of it all. All right, so the notice or the NOTAM, whatever you want to call it, here's what it looks like for 2024. You have to download this and you have to study it. I'm going to give you the highlights as we go along. This is something all pilots get before every flight. because every flight going into an airport, there could be something that's changed or that we need to be notified for. For instance, I intend to do the ILS to 36, and it happens, just so happens in the next 2 hours, it's down for maintenance. We can't use that ILS. How do we know that? We get a NOTAM before we go there, and we find out when these things are not working. Or it could be that there's some construction on runway 22. Something like that could be happening. There could be the PAPI lights don't work for some reason on that runway. So it's giving you a heads up. There could be parachuters in the area. That would be a NOTAM. There could be gliders in the area. Heavy glider competition, something. Okay, whatever's going on. We need a NOTAM. We need a notice. We need to be aware of what's going on at that airport. Well, here, it's very elaborate. This is a big, huge 10-day event in real life, or our 4-day event in the sim. And we need to know what's the procedure to come into this very congested, very highly congested with people and airplanes. How do we get in there properly, and how do we get back out again? So there's a notice, and this is quite a few pages, and we want to go in and understand it. Eventually you should read it all, and this is only for the sim. This is not an FAA notice for real. You got to go get the real one. There is a real one, all right, for that. All right, helicopters, just as an aside, you can fly helicopters in and out of here during SimVenture. This is the proper procedure. It's outlined in the notice. This has nothing to do with our normal FISK approach or our normal runways. They're keeping us off to the west into this little grass strip area so that we're not interfering with all the rest of the traffic. That's a good thing, all right? There is a mall in the sim. This is a sim picture. The mall has got a blue roof on it, and this is your ingress and outgress from that area where you can pick up passengers and take them for flights. All right, the notice brief walkthrough demonstration. Let's just talk about some of these things now. I forgot to take these out of here. These were in our chat for Twitch, so you can't see those, but I'll do live samples right now. I'll do a live sample 36 landing. I'll do a live sample 27 FISK approach. So we could start at this airport, which is very close to our first insertion point, but what I'm going to do is head out of here first. I'm going to depart first and check my frames and make sure I'm okay. I'm going to head over here, and I'm probably fast forwarding or cut it out of this video today. And I'm going to head over here and insert myself probably at Green Lake right here. Don't have to go all the way back, but as it gets more congested, you got to go further back according to ATIS. All right, we'll do Green Lake. And during my demonstration, we're not doing Pilot Edge for the first one because we're testing frames and we're testing how to do it, and we're making mistakes and we're landing wrongly. And who knows what'll happen, but we're in the sim and we're not live with people in front of us and behind us. We're not live making mistakes and getting a lot of people upset. This is how you practice part of our 7 steps, right? So that's what we're going to do. All right, so the first rock your wings at FISK, and it might be the only one, but this is the main one. FISK is where it all happens. We're coming up the railroad track from Ripon and we're coming into FISK. And FISK is going to tell us to rock our wings. We don't say anything, we just rock, meaning I hear you. And then they're going to tell us to turn right and head towards 36 down Fisk Avenue, or we're going to continue on the railroad tracks. If it's super busy, we won't have a choice. They're going to send us on one or the other. If you wish to request the choice, it's hard to do. You're going to try to risk going on the microphone and asking for another runway when they're busy. We're half mile apart. The minute they send us on our way, they're talking to the next guy. So they want to keep talking to their airplanes as they come in. And only if it's quieter, only if you don't have half mile separation, will you be able to even say anything. So it's not expecting you to say anything. But in my case, yesterday doing the FISK approach in the sim with Pilot Edge live with controllers, they did give me a choice because it was getting quieter. There wasn't anybody right behind me. They said, do you want 36 or 27? I said, 27, please. And I headed off on my way. I'll include that clip for you guys. And I headed off up this way and landed on 27. All right, my first demonstration will be here without Pilot Edge live right now. I'm going to do it right now. I'm going to take off from the airport. Then I'm going to fast forward the video as I get over to here. And I'm going to follow the FISK approach, turn right at FISK, come in and land on 36. Oops, come in and land on 36. So that first demonstration is without Pilot Edge, but we'll still go through the same procedures, same frequency, same everything. All right, my second demonstration will be from last night. I'm just going to take a clip of that coming up to FISK, just at this point here, where they actually tell me to rock my wings and I continue on and come in and land at 27. All right, So that's what's going to happen here in demonstrations in a minute. Let's just continue on now, just to let you know, it is in the notice. I have to keep forcing myself to say notice. It's in the notice about our VFR arrival procedure. This is not an IFR anything. There's no ILS, there's no needles, there's nothing. It was visual flying. Make sure you're visually over the railroad track and make sure that you are staying at specifically 1,800 feet, 90 knots. Now, they do have a provision for the faster airplanes that can't do 90 knots. So they're giving them a 2,300 at 135 knots. All right. And they're actually giving you the equivalent in miles per hour because some airplanes have miles per hour on their airspeed indicator. All right. So that's the idea all the way along, starting from way back wherever, through Ripon, 1,800 feet, 90 knots, half mile spacing. This is the plan. All right. We'll see how close we get to that. There's your two turning points right there. Coming over the highway, you might be asked to rock your wings there because you're now on a new frequency. You're on the tower frequency for 36 or 18, or you're on the tower frequency for 2709 right there. And so that new controller might ask you to rock your wings or just give you your clearance to land at this point. I think in my demonstration from last night, I think once I got to the gravel pit right here, instead of having me rock my wings, they just said, start your descent. Because you're going to turn before the threshold and land on one of the dots. So at least they're talking to me. They see that I am descending, so they see I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. All right, that's giving you an idea of what's going on. All right, 27, as I mentioned, you'll be coming along here between the gravel pit and the mall. There's a mall right here. Just come in between them, behind the mall, and do your downwind parallel to the runway. They'll have already told you which colored dot to use as your threshold. Let's say it's the green one. So then you would just do your turn and plan for your approach on landing on green one and afterwards. When we're done, we're going to taxi off on the grass, believe it or not, around the end of the runway, on the grass, all the way back up. And if you want to go back over to 36 to take off again, that's the path that you would follow. Now from the 36 Fisk Avenue, coming in and landing on 36 left or right, they've turned the taxiway into a runway for this event, just so you know. So now they're calling it 36 right. It's only 50 feet wide. They'll probably just send the smaller planes with the smaller wheelbase. And certainly a Cessna 172 fits in that category. They could send us to either one. And if they ask us to go around, whichever runway we're on, if they ask us to go around, the go around is your normal departure procedure. A go around means, in real life, a normal go around means do a circuit. Pull back up again, positive rate, gear up, flaps up, do your circuit, come back in, try to land. In here, we're not doing a circuit unless they tell us to do a circuit. If they say go around, or if you decide to go around, the procedure is your normal departure to the right at 150 degrees, not less than 1,300 feet, right? So that's what they want you to do in a go around. And that's in the book, right? Just to let you know, there's no other doubt. You never go over this area. That shaded area says do not fly in shaded area. Someone last year actually flew in this shaded area in real life. They said, oh, go around, and they're used to a left-hand circuit, so they just went over here, over the people, there's traffic coming up on here, there's traffic over. It was crazy. And in real life, that can hurt people. So anyway, just keep that in mind. You just have to know what to do. Here's the 27 approach visual from the simulator. There's our gravel pit. There's our mall. Come in behind it like this, straight down like this, turn around and land on 27. If you're coming in on 9, you'll be turning sooner and coming in straight in on 9 here. All right, there's our departures. As I mentioned, now from 36, we would depart at 150 degrees. And it says in here, stay at or below 1,300 until clear of the Class D airspace. Then you can climb and do normal, safe travels back over again. Both departures are to the south. Now, you might be doing runway 18 to land. So then your departure or your go around would be straight down 180. Again, 1,300 or below. So demonstration practice fly, let's do it. And let's go head into the sim and make it happen. All right, remember we're going through the 7 steps. And those 7 steps, we're just gonna walk you through them and make sure you understand how it all works. And so this is what we're gonna be looking at here. Remember, these are the 7 steps. I'm gonna refer to them as we go along. Let's get into the sim. I'm just gonna go over here. I'm ready to go. I've got the sim for my Cessna 172 G1000. I'll just use that. It's easy to use. I'm going to grab a parking spot near the taxiway to get to 36 to take off. I just to let you see where we are. Actually doesn't really let you see. There we are. There's your 2709. Here's your 3618 left and right. I'm right here. All right. Flight conditions. You want to make sure you're on clear. It says few clouds. Make sure you're on clear skies. Easier to see people, but that's what they suggest. Also make sure that your wind is down to 0. All right. Everybody the same. We're going to be doing 2 for our altimeter, and away we go. Let's do this demonstration. And what we're going to do is the 7 steps. As that's loading in, it won't take long. As that's loading in, register or log into Pilot Edge. Let's go through these steps right here first to get our scenery. Mine's already installed, but I just want to show you the steps. I'm going to open up a browser. I'm going to go to Pilot Edge, and I'll bring that up on the screen here. pilotedge.net/SimVenture, as we say in the text. And this is the page that comes up. All right, and so in here it says SimVenture, prepare for Oshkosh using your flight simulator. That's exactly what we're doing. Here are the 4 days, and we just finished Thursday. Now it's Friday morning for me, and this won't start now till probably another 6 hours. It's going to start, so we're not there yet. All right, and when it's the live times is when the controllers are there live speaking to you in Pilot Edge. But we can set up our microphone, we can set up our radios, we can do all this stuff ahead of time, even though it's not live yet. All right, that's what we're going to be doing. Tells you what SimVenture is. It's 5 steps here. Make sure you've got one of the flight simulators with some decent power, a headset to use with your computer, and you want to be able to set up a mic button to push to talk if you need to. And then you need an active Pilot Edge subscription. So SimVenture is also included with a free trial account. So you can go this link right here and go to your free trial account. All right, and go ahead and get that just to see if you like it. Download the required scenery detailed in this section below. So we go in here to MSFS 2020 in my case, and I'm going to download both the normal one and the light one. Although they look like they're both the same size, they reduce the amount of dynamic stuff on the field. They reduce the amount of objects on the field. The lighter one is definitely easier on your system for sure. All right, download both because you can test this one first and see if you get your minimum 20 frames or more. And if that's okay, you can leave that in and enjoy that beautiful scenery. It usually hits most people, except for those who have the most expensive kind of setups. Those with the $5,000 sim setups can probably handle that. And, you know, it's really about the fly. It's really about the experience on the FISK approach. It's really not about the eye candy when you get on the ground. That you can certainly look at anytime. Put your plane there. You don't even have to connect to Pilot Edge. You're in the scenery. You can take your drone camera, look around. You can see what's happening. You could even be in Pilot Edge listening on the frequency and see the planes coming in and out with the full scenery. But if you can't get your more than 20 frames, do not fly. All right, there's the suggestion right there. They'll just kick you off the network, you guys. All right. So make sure you download both of those, and also don't forget to download the notice. All right, we got to have the notice. Because I clicked the MSFS 2020, I'm getting the notice right here, and that's what we're going to use. All right, that's the idea behind it. Now, once you log in, then you will have to file a flight plan first. Let's do that also. All right, I've already done a flight plan for today. Here's file your flight plan, or if it doesn't put you there automatically. And in here, you just step through here, VFR. I'm not going to push file because I did one already for today. 1 per day in SimVenture. All right, so I don't need to do a second one, but this is how you'd normally fill it in. Whatever your call sign is, mine's November 67 991. I'm doing a 172 /A would give you your DME and your transponder mode C, which is perfectly fine. 1 aircraft. I'm using red and white, so red with white. This is what they're going to use to call you when you're in the air. So it's got to be in here in your flight plan. All right. I know it's VFR. We have to file it, right? Just because it's SimVenture. They got to know who you are and that you're a registered user. And then when they see your plane, no matter what it looks like to them in the sim, they will see that your flight plan says you're a red and white Cessna. And they would say, red and white Cessna, rock your wings. And you know it's you, right? Because it might look differently to them. Remember, there's 4 different sims going on here. We might not see our planes properly. Okay. So keep that in mind. That's why they're doing it. Just fill in some of the other details about your airplane, departure, airport. I'm departing from Kosh, yeah, and I'm arriving at Kosh. In this case, cruising altitude 1800 most of the time. Alternate airport, let's pick up Fond du Lac, I think that is. And I'm just doing the FISK approach right here. And I'll just say SimVenture. There we go. Nothing else. I'm not doing a pilot edge rating, which is something that's cool. You could do that. And I'm not using custom weather. I'm just using what they recommend. And you would hit file. I'm not doing it at this moment, but it would say your flight plan has been filed. Make sure you use your call sign in your pilot edge. Now, pilot edge, I'd have to run it if I haven't run it already. The client, let's go to the client next. All right, let's go back to our 7 steps for a second here. Download both sceneries, install the full scenery without connecting to pilot edge, start up and depart 36 properly. All right, what I want to do first is show you how to configure the radios, and then we'll get back off the pilot edge network and just fly without pilot edge, because there's no controllers yet anyway. But I want to show you how to set up, which is their procedure. I mean, you could go to pilot edge and it would tell you how to do it. But let's just show you how simple it is to do that, all right? So let's go to, if you're here for the first time, you've got to download the proper software. You've got to download the client software. All right, when you download the client software, it's going to appear, when you download it and run it, it's going to appear, pause, it's going to appear here as Pilot Edge Pilot Client. And you can just go into settings in there. All right, we can go like this, settings. And in the settings now, you want to go to audio and push to talk. That's the only two you really worry about here for SimVenture. Later on, you can look at the other areas. But really what you want to do is make sure the microphone you're using is going to work. All right, I'm going to be using this microphone. I might as well get it put on so we can do our test. Might as well leave that on while I'm here. And it will work in a second. We're going to test it, right? And then the headset itself up here, whatever you're using for that, right? Mine is already configured, ready to go. Now you also want to go to push to talk, and you want to set up a button or a key press on your keyboard so that you can talk on the mic just like you would in a real plane. I use the index finger white button on my alpha yoke, which is button number 1. Just like in real life, that's normally where the pilot's push to talk button is. All right, whatever button you want to use. So with that set up now, you're okay and ready to go. You can jump into the plane and start configuring the frequencies that you need, first for testing and then for the actual frequencies as we go along. Cool scenery here. I didn't even point it out yet, but here we are on the field in the long grass, which wouldn't normally be there, at Oshkosh, where everybody's parked and ready to go. So let's go see what that looks like. Go outside the plane for a second and just look around. There's a lot of stuff going on. We are further down the field. We are way down the field. Back here is where everything's happening. The control tower is way back here somewhere. And there's the balloons, and we're almost down to the start of 36 right here, which is in real life last year. That's where I was to pick up the plane and to go from there. All right, let's get in the plane. Let's configure it and get it ready to go. What we're going to do is a normal startup. I'm going to just go fast through this because you don't need to know this. You might be doing a different plane. I'm going to put my beacon on, nav light on, battery on, parking brake on, trimmed for neutral. We're good. And as that comes up, I'm going to turn on, I'm going to start the engine. So ready here, prop clear. Once that's running, almost died. I had my mixture, the last thing I didn't do, mixture there. And this, I want this up to about 970, maybe 100, maybe 1000 RPM. Right about there. To keep my battery charged. Yeah, that'll work right there. Got a positive rate on my charge. Okay, avionics on. I'm just using my alpha switches, and over here press OK to continue. Yep, we're good. And there we go. We got a nice visual right there going on. We've got an engine running. Now, to test your radios is the first thing we're going to do. Make sure our microphone works. Make sure our headset works. Right now, you're hearing me through my studio mic, which is like a Canon mic here in my studio, but speaking to Pilot Edge, this is configured, normal configuration for speaking to them. So that's what I'm going to use. I've already configured that. So now I got to do it here in the sim. All right. So what I'm going to do is just look at my Control 1. I'm going to look at my radio right here. Matter of fact, get that as close as I can so you can see what's going on like that. And what we're going to do to test the radio, like it tells us on Pilot Edge, we're going to do the 5-finger frequency. And the idea behind it is we're going to broadcast on COM 1 and we're going to listen to it coming back to us on COM 2. All right, and that way we know that it's broadcasting out and coming back. That's the test we're going to do. You do this on Pilot Edge every time you do Pilot Edge. For normal flying, you do this also. All right, so let's just get that configured. First of all, COM 1 is already set for broadcast. I also have to receive on COM 2. Make sure that's set. That's tripped me up once. I've been playing with frequencies and for some reason couldn't get it working because I forgot to turn on COM 2 to listen, right? All right, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 0 is what we're after. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to just hold this button here until it comes down to 4, 5. There we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Okay, let's just go back a bit. Right there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 0, and flip-flop. Over it goes to active. All right, that's one step. We got to do the same on COM 2. So I'm going to click this to jump down. Now I'm going to do the same thing. Come back one on the big dial, and then come back a bunch on the small dial until we got it down. Let's see if I can nail 4, 5 this time. Ah, look at that. Nice stop. Okay, boom. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 0. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 0. Now, as I push my microphone, which you can't see, I'm going to push my microphone over here. It's just behind. It's behind over here on the right. You can't see it here though. Wherever you've pushed your mic, you could have used a keyboard press. Whatever you've configured now, I'm going to push it and hear if I can hear myself on the Pilot Edge network. Will it work right now? Probably not, because I haven't connected yet. Give it a try. Radio check. Nothing. Radio check. Nothing. Because we haven't actually started up the client yet. All right, so that's what we want to do now. We want to get started with the client. We configured the client. We didn't get started with the client. So that's what we want to do. So we're going to go to Pilot Edge now, like this. And we're going to the account center. Oops, that's not what we want. So let's go see where to do. There's two things I want to show you. So first of all, I want to go here and just to show you the console. The console will show you what happened. You saw me push the talk to try the push to talk, and it shows you the state of that. Shows me my transponders on 1200. Shows me my comm radios are transmit and receive on COM 1 and receive on COM 2. It gives you an idea what's been happening. So I know everything is configured properly. That's just what's called the console, right? That's a good way to see if things are working properly. Second thing for troubleshooting, I mean for working it, I'm going to right click my Pilot Edge client. I'm going to go to advanced, and now I'm going to go to launch web interface. And when I launch my web interface, this is the key to getting started with talking. All right, so now I'm connected to the simulator. It sees the simulator's running, and I'm going to now connect here. So this is the live part. Everything else is configured. I'm in the sim. I've got my frequencies ready to go, but I can't talk on the radio yet. Now I got to actually connect. So I'm going to go connect, use the call sign that I filed in my flight plan, the type of plane I filed in my flight plan, and the livery. It just allows for the primary color to start with. All right, as simple as that. I'm going to say connect, and we should hear it tell us we're connected.
Pilot Edge connected.
I seem to have an echo because I got a studio speaker on also. So I'm logged into the network and I'm connected, and I do have mode C. Right, so I'm going to turn that on. My flight plan's already been made, or you can get it from here if you haven't filed it yet. Okay, so that's good. I'm on. This should actually work now. I'm going to leave this off to the side. We don't need it. And what I'm going to do now is do my radio check on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 0. Remember. All right, so pressing it now. Radio check.
Radio check.
Radio check.
Radio check.
You see there's a bit of a delay there because it's going out and back. And it sounds like a radio too, doesn't it? Radio check.
Radio check.
So that's working perfectly. We don't need that anymore. We know that's going to work. So I can flip-flop both of those back. Let's flip-flop that one first. And then we'll go to the other comm radio and flip that also. So what do we need to know to get started here? We need to set up two frequencies. One is our departure frequency, so we know when they tell us we're cleared to take off. And secondly is the FISK approach as we come in. After that, we got to pick the right tower. All right, so we got to know our tower frequencies as we go along. All right, so let's start out with our departure frequency in the NOTAM, in the notice, is 118.9, if I remember correctly. I got it in my notepad. Make sure you write everything down, just the things you need. You don't have to flip through the whole NOTAM. In real life, they want you to keep the NOTAM in the plane with you and reference it along the way. Here in the simulator for SimVenture, keep the NOTAM with you, because the controllers here will also tell you page 20, page 22, they're reminding you. And in real life, it's always better to have someone else in the plane with you who can reference stuff in the NOTAM and can also tell you what's going on and also help you do the Linda Blair to see who's in the area in real life, because that's more important. Here in the sim, most of us are alone. So we can do that, and we can be wavering. I might even do that on my demonstration without trying, because I'm trying to show you stuff and talk about stuff. I might even not be perfectly flying. Okay, so we've got the idea. Let's do the 118.9 to start with, which is our departure frequency for runway 36, which is the only way out of here. Let's do that, and then we'll get rolling, you guys. Here we go with 1, 2, 3, and I said 118.9. I'm going to go up from here on the little dial, just holding it, getting up to 9, 0, 7, 8, 9, almost 9. Okay. This is nuts, isn't it? This is why people have hardware. I do have hardware, but I'm showing you how to do it here. There, 118.9, flip that over. And if you had live on the network right now with controllers talking, you would actually hear them talking to you right now. All right, so for that reason also, I'm going to go back to the web page where I'm connected. And at this point, I'm going to disconnect because they're not live yet. There's no controllers to help me out. They're not going to give me clearance to take off. They're not going to give me FISK approach instructions. So that was testing to make sure everything's going to work later.
Edge disconnected.
So now I've disconnected from the network. I still have the same flight plan all day long. You don't have to file another one. So there, now I'm not worried about talking. I can still talk out loud to you on the microphone, and I can pretend that they're telling me to rock my wings. So that's what we'll see. And then our second demonstration will be live. The one from last night will be live, so you can see it going to 27 of them talking to us and talking to other people. All right. When we head out, our heading will be 150. So let's get ahead of the plane, you guys. Let's go to our heading indicator and let's dial in 150. So where's 150? Right over here. 150. I'm surprised because my phone is on silent. That must be one of my tablets. So the tablet's not on silent. Sorry about that. So we want to make sure that our heading is 150, which will be over this way. Let's go here. There's 12 down there. I'm just going to go pretty quickly here. I'm just holding down the heading right here and get down to 150. I want to follow the heading bug on my way out without worrying about the heading. Now I've done this manually, and in the real plane I did it manually, but look how easy this is while I'm recording and doing all of this. I'll be distracted with maps and screens and all the rest. So I'm going to do things as automated as possible. And my altitude going out will be 1300. So I'll put in, there's 8, I'll put in 9, 13. There we go. So I can actually use autopilot. I'm going to do an altitude hold, and I'm going to do a heading hold. And so that way I can depart properly. All right. Now, third, I'm going to open up a little nav map, and I'm going to show you. I'm going to use all the tools possible to give you a visual of what's going on. Here is Whitman Field. There I am sitting at parking. Let me just connect me to the sim so it'll follow me. I'm sitting here. Well, I'm sitting here on the taxiway. Oh, I'm off in the grass. I really am. Yeah. I'm going to go over to the taxiway and just start. You just work your way in. You don't get cleared to taxi. You don't call anybody. You just wait to see that there's a break in anybody going by, and you join in, and you come over here and hold short, wait for your clearance. That's the idea. That's what we're going to do. I'll come back to this little nav map now and then. All right, so now at this point, you're going to be looking for traffic. All right, and in the sim, it's easier because of our limited view on a single screen for most of us. You can come right outside like this and watch the traffic. During the times that this is live, you'll see a whole stream of people taxiing. And you're going to wait for a break, and then you're going to go there. In this case here, I also have a Gary in front of me. How am I going to get around him? I'm just going to pretend he's not there, all right? You know, it's like crazy. He's just staying nearby in case we need to be pushed or something. You know, once the engines start, these should scatter. So let's hope that happens in 2024. And those guys shouldn't stick around. All right, so you don't have to be here where the concrete is. You can be coming off the grass from wherever you park and then join in to taxi. That's what we're going to do right now. All right, so we've got our frequency set up. We don't have our second frequency set up. I should do that also. Our FISK approach is 1266. Just checking here. So that'll be our second frequency we need. I'm going to put that in right now while we're at it. This is good practice, you guys. Do everything on the ground, or you, especially with the sim, because you got to play around with all these buttons with a mouse. So 126, I'm going to go up one, oops, right here, up 1, 2, 126, and come back on this one down to 6. Like that. 60. There. It's ready to go. And this is getting ahead of the plane, you guys. So I'm anticipating once I'm on the FISK approach to tune in here, all I got to do is hit the flip-flop. So this is for departure and when I'm still in the zone. And they're not even going to tell us you can change frequency now like normal. They're not going to tell us anything. We're just, once we're clear of the zone, I can switch over to 1266 as I'm heading over. All right. So there we go. We got everything we need. I will do the normal call as if I have to call. But you're going to see I'm going to have to say nothing the whole time. All right. So I'm just going to let you know that right now they're telling me I'm cleared to take off as if I were. Right. All right. Parking brake is off. I got to get around Gary here. And I'm going to test my brakes. Boy, the long grass here, I'm really pushing it to get through it. It seemed to be like really hard to move here. I'm almost full power just to get it going. Make sure no one's coming. If someone's coming, wait for them. Insert yourself appropriately. This is how, there's no radio calls, there's no cleared to taxi, nothing. It's going to be strange, you guys. This is how it works. All visual, everything's visual. Pull back some power here and just kind of coast for a while. I'm going to turn on my landing light, even though I'm taxiing. I want people to see me in the air. I'm now turning on my strobes because I'm away from the rest of the people and I'm getting ready to take off. My transponder should be on alt. Just having a quick look here. Transponder 1200 alt. Yep. I'm good. Everything's good. And people will be able to see me in the air. This is all about VFR. It's all about see and be seen. That's the whole idea behind it. All those flags to the left is part of the new scenery. The fire truck at the end, part of the new scenery. All this stuff is all part of the new scenery from Pilot Edge. We can only use it for this event. I'd love to use this even after the event, but then that's not what it's intended for. All right, we come around here. During the event, this person here is animated. They could even tell us to stop. What we're doing is that there's nobody on the incoming. I'm going to pause right here. It also has a notice that says monitor 118.9. Checking again, 118.9. Looking over here, I'm on the proper runway, 1836, right there. I'm at Papa 5, which is the proper departure, and everything is looking good. All of a sudden on the radio, because I'm on the right frequency, I hear them say red and white Cessna to position, or something like that. All right, they might even clear me to take off. So I'm just going to go and get ready to position. No talk back. It's hard for me not to push the microphone and repeat what they just cleared. Making sure again, nobody coming in. Turning over here and I'll get into position. They might tell us to the left of the center line. They might tell us to go over to the next runway. You got to listen to what they say. They say in this case they said cleared. Taxi to position. Runway 36 left. I'm on 36 left. All right. I'm waiting. I'm hoping I don't have to be here long because someone could be coming in. And they say red and white Cessna, you clear for takeoff. At or below 1,300 feet at 150 degrees. Clear for takeoff, right? So I want to push the button and say clear for takeoff on 36 left, but that's not what I'm allowed to do. You got to stay quiet and just do what they say. They see you're moving, they see what you're doing, everything's good. I'm looking for 52 here for my rotate speed. There's 47, there's 52. Start bringing the nose up, a little bit of pressure, and it will take over by itself. Up we go, and you notice I'm already starting my tiny little gentle turn before that control tower over on the left. And before the blue dot, there's the blue dot up ahead, there's the control tower over there. I'm already starting my gentle turn, low and slow to the ground, I'm going to be turning around to our 150 mark, and I'm heading for 1300. I'm already over 1,000. And I'm going to just drop my nose a bit here. I don't have to go so fast, but I got to do that turn, and I got to make sure I don't stall. There we go, just like that. You're not going to be over the water. Be an idea what we're doing. This is a great thing about the sim. You can see what's happening, leaving the airport, turning, not too sharply. Don't go over 1300. Or at or above, right? At or below, sorry. Don't go over 1300. Listen to it, Howard. It's somewhere around there. At this point, you can actually hit autopilot and heading, and it should stay at 1300. I'm just going to let it go. This is my 150, 1300. Make sure it works before you actually let it go. And you can see my hands are free. So this is what you want. 120 is what I said in my flight plan, but I'm going to pull back a little bit of RPMs here because I'm actually up around too high. All right, we're good. So the whole point here is that I've left the place properly. All right, there it is over there. Well, we're already, there's the end of 36 right there. I'm exiting at 150. Be careful you don't overrun here. This is the seaplane base. You don't want to be too close to that. So even now, I'm already doing 150. I'm almost out of the zone. I'm going to go a bit to the right to stay away from the seaplane base. Don't get too close because it gets them nervous. And you can even follow this road now from here. Like that. And as soon as I'm out of the zone, which will be any minute, I'll just climb. You don't wait for any clearance or anything. You just look at your map, make sure you're out of the zone. And let's just show you where we're at. You can see here I'm avoiding the coastline because planes are coming in here, warbirds are coming in here, seaplane are all here. We want to be even this close. I should have turned way back here. But anyway, you can see where I am. I'm way beyond. Here's our Fisk Avenue approach. A lot of planes are coming in here. Some are coming in here. Some are coming up here. I'm out of that area. I can start heading over to where I want to be. All right. And that's the idea behind it. I'm going to fast forward the video in a minute here, but I'm just showing you how we're doing this. Because I'm talking and because I'm recording, well, in the wrong direction. I'm making sure I put it on autopilot so that I don't get too distracted and mess things up. Now I'm going to pick a different altitude now because I'm out of the area, and I'm going to jump up to 3,000 would probably be appropriate. Nice and safe to go to 3,000. Let's just do a VS climb to that, and I'll climb at 600 feet per minute, and we're good. So I'm just doing normal stuff that we would do, full power, full mixture. I'm climbing, and I'm staying on this heading now, which is straight south for now, and a little further south I'll just start going west. All right, I'll start going out that way. The whole time you're here, you want to be looking for traffic. In the real thing, when we have our radios on, once you're connected to Pilot Edge, when you're connected to Pilot Edge, you will see other planes in the Pilot Edge network only. That's the idea behind it. Right now, because we're off the Pilot Edge network and because the controllers aren't live, we're not seeing any other planes, but you should still have that diligent lookout left and right and make sure as you are flying around. No planes around me. You can even do it in the sim like this and say, yep, no planes behind me either. Stay lit up all the time. And I'm doing a gentle climb up to 3,000. Now that I'm getting past that fix there, I can actually turn right. There will be nobody coming in on an ILS in SimVenture. In the sim, in real life, there would be, and you'd have to go further south to turn right, but I can turn right now. I'm going to go straight right to, sort of 240, 250, and head towards my first insertion point. And at that point, I'll fast forward this video. But that gives you an idea how it's all done. I can stay off the frequency now. I'm out of the zone. I'm cleared the zone to the south. And I'm going to be now tuning in, but I don't have to do it yet, but I'm going to be tuning into the Fisk approach as I get closer to that conga line. Right now, I'm many miles away. So let me just give you a visual on that also. I'm right here, and I've got to get over to here. So this whole part in here, I'm going to fast forward or just cut it out and pick it up here as I'm about to join the conga line on 1266. All right, we'll do that. And for the second demonstration, I'll just bring it in as I'm getting close to Fisk and then heading over to 27. So, I'll just save a bunch of time here in this. All right, let's leave that run. I'm climbing right now. I'm heading out You can see from this angle here, it's on the climb. Not a very gentle climb. I can't be at 3,000 yet, can I? Climbing at 600 feet per minute. Yeah, it's at 600 feet per minute. Nice gentle climb, almost there. And I'll level off and then I'll set it for around 120. There we go, we're coming up on 3,000. And pretty soon I'll fast forward the video, just give me a second. In the sim, while we're almost leveling here, in the sim you can do things like this. I want to use the green lake insertion point. If there's nobody around like right now, I could even use Ripon and just go into Ripon and start from there. But I'm going to say there's a few, you know, in real life you probably never get to go into Ripon because it's just too busy. I'm going to head down here to this next insertion point. There's the Puckaway Lake, and then way back here is the bridge. All right, so we're actually just going to go here and insert right here. All right, so to get there, look how easy it is in the sim. I can just do something like this. Go here and say measure distance. There we go. And what's the distance here? We've got something like 20 nautical miles away. You could figure out how long that's going to take you. And you can see the direction, magnetic direction, all right, that they're showing us here. Or you could do it the other way around, do it from here, measure distance from here, and it tells you your magnetic direction from here, 264. So if I just do 264, and I want to actually be down here and come up to it on almost a perpendicular, so right around here. And it says 260 is what I want, all right? Well, I'm a bit late now, but that's the idea. You can play with the sim like that and go, oh, 260, okay, that's easy enough. I'm just going to do this, increase that to 245, 260. So 260 is the heading that I want, and now this is going to go to 260, and I'm heading over there. I just leave it like that. Now that I'm level, I'm just going to bring it back a bit of RPM so I'm not redlining. I'm going to adjust my mixture for best mixture right about there. That's looking good, and I'm around 120, which is fine. So I'm perfect for my approach over. And at this point here, I'm going to fast forward it for you guys. You see the idea. It doesn't have to be right on here, but you can see that I'm heading in the right direction. I'm parallel to this. I'll end up right about here, and then I'll go manual and turn into here and head up there, right up the FISK approach. This one I'm doing from the insertion point, but this is what you should do for each insertion point to get used to them and see what they look like and get comfortable. And you would also have to think about traffic. If there's a bunch of people here, you can't just jump in the middle of them and wreck their sequencing. You got to wait till there's a bigger gap and then insert yourself, all right? If that isn't going to happen, then you could do a holding pattern around this lake area or something like that. If this is supposed to be your insertion point and it's busy, you got to wait. You could even go around this way, but that's, you know, messing up people who are already there. You could go around Green Lake, but that could be harder because there's people already there. Come in at 3,000 feet over Green Lake and do a circular until you see a gap and then descend down to 1,800. That would work too. So whatever it takes to get in there, that's what you would do. That's where we're headed. Let me just remove that measurement line. And as we head over, I'll go fast forward now. Let's come back for a second here. We want to descend before we get there, and we want to be on the right frequency. So we're on 126.6 now, which is the FISK approach frequency, and we want to drop down to 1,800. So if you want to do it this way to be predictable, we'll do it like that. There's 1,800 right there, and now we want to either descend using this method. It's pretty steep. Let's do that. And we'll cut some power now. And we'll descend down before I end up redlining the thing. Pull some power back. And we'll get to 1,800 by the time we get there. Our insertion point is right around here. But we're coming down this way, turning up into it, so we can see traffic clearly left and right. If you come in any other angle, you're restricting your vision on what's going on. So don't come in straight at the traffic, right? Remember, just like in a downwind, you'd come in on a 45 to downwind. So it'd be right around here, come in, right around here and come in on a 45, or come in straight at it and turn. Coming in on a 45 means you don't need to make a sharp turn. You don't need to make a steep turn, which is safer to make a gentle turn. So it's better to come in on a 45 to the flow of traffic. You have full visibility, plus you're not doing any dangerous moves. 1800, we're almost there. Once we get to 1800, we want to be at 90 knots. So we're just staying ahead of the plane. I could have done this after this little lake here, and I could have descended and slowed down right in here. I'm just showing you how easy that is. I'm going to hold off for a second on my RPMs, and as it comes down towards 90, I'm bringing it up to something that will work. Somewhere around 2100. Get to know your airplane, that's for sure. And I'm holding it somewhere around the 90 knots. Let it settle in there. I'm at 1800, 92 knots. I've got a couple knots to play with before I get to the actual FISK approach. All right, so that's what's happening there. Now I'm looking for traffic. I'm looking on the horizon. This is where they would be on the horizon because I'm at the proper altitude. They should be on the horizon. And I'm looking for lights because you're not going to see tags and you're not going to see anything else. So you're actually looking for lights out that way. They'll be coming in all along here. And you're looking for any lights this way of those who are going right past you like this. That's what we're looking for. And I'm going to turn back, turn to the right, straight up at it. And that way I can actually see a better visibility. See, right now it's hard to see to the right. You really got to crank it around to see to the right. So this isn't the best approach because you're going to be going the opposite direction. So come at it perpendicular or at a 45 to the direction you want to go. As you can see here, it's time to turn. Well, pretty soon after this lake, it's time to turn and head toward it, and then do a turn as you get into it. We're going to head up here towards Ripon. And you can see in here, even if you do it this way, from this point, let's just do another measure distance thing to Ripon. And you can see it says 69 degrees magnetic. Let's make it 70. And it's about 10 miles, all right? So we're going to turn to 70 is what we're going to do. Right now I'm just going to turn towards my insertion point. It's good that you have these tools. You get an idea what you need to do and you remember it later, right? So from this insertion point, it's about 70 degrees. But you're still visual, you guys. The whole thing is visual VFR. You don't need to use autopilot. You don't need to use measurement devices. And this is what we do in real life. All right, turning toward my insertion point. If you take a look over here, it's right around here. All right, so I'm just going to do this. I'll keep it on here to make it predictable. Turn it around right to 70. Why not? I could just hold it here like this and get that right around to the 70 mark. And let's see what that looks like. It's looking good. I see all the power lines, 30, 60, and 70, right around there. An idea what that looks like. I'm still at 1800. I'm still probably 90 knots still, and I want to do 70 degrees, and let's see what that looks like. Now, I'm going to say to you that playing with autopilot like that messed me up. Look how fast it turned. I didn't quite get to my insertion point. I'm not on the FISK approach. You're supposed to be over here. All right, so I'm going to make an adjustment now back this way and get in there if there's nobody else there, and then head on my 70. Look, it's so efficient. I turned too soon. All right, so let's do that. Let's turn it back. I'm leaving this in, you guys. First take, just let it happen and let you see the mistakes. It is a sim. We can make all the mistakes we want. And I'm going to do a sharper turn just to get back there on track real quick. You want the lake to your left. You want to look out the window and see the lake. So I'm going to get over closer to the lake, and then we're good. Again, use your visuals, you guys. I'm going to leave the mistakes in there. That was a mistake. I'm not in there yet. It's not a problem, though, because people are still on this line. I got to watch my line now. This is like a downwind join. This is my 45 to downwind is really what I'm doing toward that little lake there. And if I put a line there, it'll be just before that tiny little pond where I want to turn. Yeah, you want to be that kind of precise. There's the little pond. I'm going to turn it to 40 at that point. All right, and I just take it over another few degrees and get it over to 70. I'll wait till I'm at that pond. Now again, from here, just like in a downwind, is there anybody there? If there is, you cannot push them over. You cannot collide with them. You've got to watch your spacing. All right, you got to do that right. And I'll just give it another minute here, and then I'll make my turn. I'm going to leave it like this. It's predictable to keep it on autopilot like this, so I'm going to keep it this way. Make my turn now, take it over to 70 like that. And that should work for me. That should be my 70 right there. The 69, okay, close. There we go. And that should head me towards the village of Ripon. Be right there, and we'll see how that goes. Now, looking at here, after all that calculation, looks like 70 still isn't right. I'm going to end up going past it here. So I'm going to just adjust a few degrees. And it's all visual, you guys. So you would normally just take your yoke and do it. I'm going to just use my heading indicator and do it. And some of you might be critical of this. Like, are you kidding? The guy drove by, flew by his heading indicator. We do this on the Real FISK approach for predictability. We want to stay at 1,800 feet. We want to stay at 90 knots. We want to make sure we stay on course. When you get past Ripon, you got to be on the railroad track. Boom. All right. So you're going to do lots of fine adjustments on that, or manually fly it. Now, last night I did a manual fly, but I was still, while I'm talking, showing maps, doing things, I was still over here. Oops, now I've lost a couple hundred feet. Bring it back up again. And now, whoops, I'm off the railroad track. So I was too many distractions when you're recording or streaming or whatever. So here I'm doing it more predictable. Looks like I am heading right to that village right there. And if I look on the Little Lamb map, yeah, I definitely am heading to the village right there. Once I get to that village, I'm going to follow this railroad track right here, not the road. The road goes in, then back out and around, and then it branches off. And we're going to follow the railroad track directly over it as close as possible. So that's the plan, you guys. It's all in the notice. And that's what we're going to do. We're getting closer. I'll speed it up a little right here. So let's come back live again. You see I'm going over the town of Ripon now. And there it is. Let's just do a better visual of this. Oops, let's do something like that. Okay. As you're flying over it, you'll see there's a water tower over here. What we're really after is these silos, that railroad track right there. Not the highway, the railroad track going past the silos. All right, I'm going to collide. I'm going to merge with the railroad track at this angle, and then make a slight adjustment to the left to follow the railroad track. In this sim, it's easy. You can go like this to see if you're following properly. Here come the silos. There's the railroad track there, just starting. And we're going to intersect it and then turn a bit to the left. And that's the idea behind it, you guys. Over here. Now I want to go a bit to the left. I'm going to crank it around, get over that railroad track. Now, doing autopilot's harder because now you're playing with the heading indicator. I'm going to get back over it again, and then straighten back up again. And it's going to change. You can see further up, it turns a bit more to the left. Well, let's see how that looks. Looks like I'm not quite over it yet. Take it over a little more. And normally you would just hand fly it, but then you got to try and keep your altitude also. All right, let's see what that looks like. Go back outside the plane. The sim is nice that you can do this. There's the railroad track. And I'm pretty much flying. It looks like I got to make an adjustment to the right again. Now that I'm over it, boom, there's two adjustments to the right. Back out. Looking down. As close as you can align. Looks like I'm on a parallel course. Pretty close. You want to be close. You want to be closer than that. All right, I'm going to do one more. There it is, starting to merge back. It's going to turn left in a minute. So this is it. Now we're on the FISK approach. We're going to be almost over the railroad track in a minute. You can see it's getting there. And then it's going to be a bit of a turn to the left. We're going to keep on going, and we're going all the way up to FISK. Here we are. There's the railroad track. We're on it. And we're going to go all the way up. And right around here, there's FISK right there. Right around here, they're going to tell us to rock our wings. Sorry, it just jumped. Where is it? Right around here, they're going to tell us to rock our wings, and we're way back here, okay? And when they rock our wings, we're going to be heading west on FISK Avenue and then into 36. That's our plan for this first live demo. as I merge again, because it did a turn, as I merge again, here it comes, I'm going to make an adjustment on my heading. That, let's see how that looks. Maybe a touch more. Maybe that. Okay, let's see how that looks. Probably a bit too much. But you can see that fine a tuning. Bring it back a touch. Now we're coming up on this little town here. I'm trying to think of what it is called in the notice. But you can see from the map, we're right on the railroad track where we're supposed to be. A little bit off there, but I knew it was going to turn in. And now I'm pretty much aligned with it. Coming through this little area here where there's some railroad stuff. It's my primary language. And you can see that there's more buildings right here on the railroad track too, but I'm staying on the railroad track, you guys. Slight turn to the left now. Well, that's a connection to internet stuff. Good thing, because I would be on the Pilot Edge network and that would drive me crazy. Now I'm getting away from the railroad track, so I've got to move over. Follow that railroad track. It's pretty much the same right now. It's actually on the same, it's railroad track and, see if I can get back here without rocking around. It's railroad track and road, but it is coming over here a bit this way. You can see there's the railroad track there. All right, as we're coming up on Fisk. So this is the crucial moment. I'm gonna just leave it like, yeah, it's gonna merge. I'll just bring it over a couple of notches. This is where the big thing happens. And so let me just see again. You can see as we come over this, bear with me guys, this is important, and you've got all these people on the road. This is how we get our spacing and get things working. We're flying over here. This is an emergency airstrip if you have to land, or even here if you're in trouble, but for now we're still in sequence. We're still doing well. We're over the railroad track and we're heading in the right direction. So remember, this is Fisk, so even now they could tell us to rock our wings at a mile out, or even here at a half mile out, and we're gonna have to turn right here. I'm getting ready to turn. Right now it would say rock your wings. I'm going to, red and white Cessna, rock your wings. Off goes my pilot, autopilot, rock my wings. Oops, not too far. That was a very nice rock, and they're going to say that, nice rock. And then now I'm going to make my turn. I'm going to do it manually and then get back on autopilot again. All right, I'm just going to hit my heading indicator. You can see I'm getting back to my 1800. Take a look here just to see. I'm going to turn here and go down Fisk Avenue. All right, so it's coming up. I don't want it to be a sharp turn. I want it to be a gentle turn. And so now I just want to make sure I know where I'm going. I'm going to do my gentle turn to Fisk Avenue. You can tell Fisk Avenue because it's got a 4-flight sign now this year, right there on the highway, on the road, and it's got the microwave tower right here and another sign further up by the interstate. All right, so now at this point, should be around 90 degrees because it's a 90-degree road. I'm going to hit my heading indicator, sorry, my heading bug, and I'm going to hit my autopilot again. And so now I'm following the heading bug. Should be 1800, should be 90 knots. I haven't changed power. This thing should settle up at 90 knots, or settle down, which one do we want to call it? And I'm not right over Fisk Avenue. There's the microwave tower. I'm not right over it. Let's get some adjustments going before I talk to the next person. And I've got to get to the right frequency, which I didn't set up ahead of time. 118.5, I think, or 118, yeah, sorry, no. 27, 118.5. You'd have to have that frequency ahead of time, you guys. But let's just take a look here. We'll say I do have it set up, 118.9, there it is, yeah. And then I'm going to go like this. Still, there's the microwave tower coming past us. And I just have to get over a little. All right, so you see things get crazy, so you got to be ready for it. Get back over that line like that before they call you at the intersection. I'm on the right frequency, 118.9, and now I'm just going to come back a bit to there. Let's see what that looks like from here. I'm still not quite over it. I still look like it from the nose, but I'm not. Let's get over the darn thing. And you know, they're not going to be looking on the ground and going, oh, you're off by 2 degrees, but they want you to be in the right direction, the right altitude. and keep that sequence going properly. Coming up on the merge here, where I'm going to merge right on with the... And some people will fly a bit to the right of it because you can look out your left window and see it properly, right? After the intersection, we're going to begin our descent so we can head down, and then they'll give us a color to work with. All right, I'm going to come back here now and stay over it. There we go. All right, I'm going to take autopilot off at this point because they either tell us to rock our wings or they'll clear us to land. So, red and white Cessna, rock your wings. Sometimes they ask you to do that so you know who you're talking to, but it does cause more talking. So they might just simply say red and white Cessna, cleared to land 36 left, yellow dot. You don't do anything. You just keep on going, but now you're going to start your descent. I don't have autopilot on. Pulling back some power, nose will naturally drop. I'm thinking about, I'm not going for the numbers, which is right here. I'm going to go for the yellow dot. So I can start turning now. Nice gentle turn. I can descend down further. I'm about 800 feet, something like that. Don't want to cross over too soon, but you can start your gentle turn as early as you want and then turn in towards that. You can see where the approach is. And I want to get to, all right, as I get down to flap range, hold on a sec. You can now get down to flap range. It looks crazy, doesn't it? Because there's the threshold right there and I'm so high, but now I can actually put it down. I'm in flap range. I've got my first flap down, my second flap down, the yellow dot's further up now. Do whatever you have to, forward slip, flaps, whatever, get down there. I'm on idle right now, heading to the purple one and then coasting to the yellow, just like they told me to do. I'm already cleared to land, no acknowledgement, just do it. All right, I'm going to sort of level here. Power is still going to decay. And I'm going to land after the yellow dot like this. And you don't have to touch it, you just have to land after it because sun's landing before you. Like that. And as soon as I'm slow enough, they might even tell me to get off the runway because other people are coming. Could be a faster plane behind me too. But as soon as you're able to turn off, here I'm at 30 knots, that's safe to turn off, onto the grass. Doesn't have to be that taxiway, you guys, it has to be the grass. All right, and as I get off onto the grass, then I would hold up my piece of paper that says where I park or tell them my intentions with arrows. All right, you don't talking to anybody. So I'm over here now and I can taxi from here. I'm asking them if I can taxi back to parking. They see my parking pass, they see where I'm going, and so they let me taxi over here. So at some point, doesn't have to be an intersection. Look at that, you guys, welcome to Oshkosh. I'm going to go back, maybe taxi back out and do the next FISK approach, which I will shorten. It will take us to FISK, start from there. And there I am back where I started, and I'm going to go over here and park beside this beautiful DC-3. Wherever my normal parking would be, wherever I intend to go. This is vintage parking. Let's go park in vintage. Park right here. All right, so that's the demonstration for 36 left. This was the FISK approach down FISK Avenue. And now what we'll do is we'll go over to 27 and just show you what that looks like. I'll leave this the way it is right now and just exit like that. Let me just show you what happened. We started from here. We took off on 36, did our right turn out at 150 degrees. Then we adjusted. We headed way over here, joined up here too soon. Let me turn this off up here. We turned here too soon, realized our mistake, no problem, and we joined in here because there wasn't any traffic. If there's a ton of traffic, you got to join in at the actual insertion point. So if there's a ton of traffic, I can't just slide in like this. There's no gap. I got to go back around, maybe even stay at the lake until I see there's some kind of gap, and then go and head in. All right, join in. And now head to Ripon and follow that train track, which is pretty close. As close as possible. Drives them crazy when we don't. And then I'm turning here at FISK Avenue. They told me to rock my wings, turn down FISK. Finally get back on track here. I said, well, I'm still too far to the left. But remember, you can still be to the right or left. Many will actually stay to the right because you get better viz going out the left window. And then from here, I rocked my wings. They gave me my clearance down to the yellow dot, and I turned and landed. So there you go. Now let's go look at the 27 demonstration. 90, 1800. Good. Railroad tracks. Good. Oh yeah.
Nice rock. Continue straight ahead there. Follow the railroad tracks all the way inbound. Right downwind for runway 27. Once you pass FISK, go to Monster Tower 118.5.
Railroad tracks. Nice feature in the center.
Ready inbound to FISK. Current information is Bravo. Landing runway 27 and 36. Please join the arrival at Puckaway. Half mile spacing, 1,890 knots. White and red Mooney, half mile south of FISK, rocket wings.
We're not a Mooney. We're still a mile. Still over the railroad tracks.
Nice rock. Make a right turn. Join the east-west road. Left base, runway 36.
Now, the hard part is not replying to him, which is rock our wings. The hard part is not replying to him.
The white and red Mooney, Pascal Fiske, Monster Tower 126.6.
Not too high, you guys. While I'm looking outside. Too high. There we are, 1800 right there. And as I pull up to stay at 1800, it'll drop my speed down to where it should be. We're probably next. For the railroad tracks, on our way. And you can see the railroad tracks now go straight up. The road now goes off that way. And what we got to do is try to find, if he sends us down the Fisk Avenue, we got to find that. It's going to be pretty much a right turn up ahead. And up ahead here is where they're actually watching with binoculars right there. So they should be calling us any second now. 1885. A little bit more throttle, we're good. Night Alley! See ya, girl! Thanks for tuning in, thanks for bringing your friends. Here we are, 1890. Be calling us next. Right about here is where we turn. Surprised he hasn't called us yet, because there's the highway going down. Hasn't called us. Hey, Viper.
Red and white Cessna, half mile south of FISK, rocket wings.
That's us.
Great rock. Which one we want? 27 or 36 tonight?
27, thank you.
All right, straight ahead of our tracks and a right down one at runway 27 at the gravel pit, and you can monitor our 126 or actually 118.5. Welcome to Oshkosh.
Nice. So I just keep following the railroad track, you guys, and that's the idea. I'm going to 27 this time. We've done 36 before. All right, let's make sure 1780, 95 knots. We're still going to keep going the way we were. And now we're following 27. I would have liked to say thanks a lot and good day and all the rest of it, but you don't.
And white Skyhawk, half mile south of FISK, rocket wings.
Did you see that rock, you guys? Was that a nice rock?
Great rock. Turn right, join east-west road, and a left base, runway 36, and monitor tower 126.6. Hope you're having fun.
Having a ball, aren't we? Yeah, off the Fisk trailer. If we can find the trailer. Yeah, I've seen the trailer in real life. You drive out there and find it, you guys. But I asked, he gave me a choice, so I asked for 27. So he sent me up the railroad tracks, and I'm going to go, oh, I got to tune in the tower. Quick. And what did he say? 118.5? Somebody confirmed for me. I thought it was 118.5. Let's see. 118. Try to keep your head out the window also. 118.5 should be this way. Oh my gosh. Should have done that right away before I start talking. Right there, 118.5. Someone confirm. I'm sure that's what he said. We'll hear it in a minute.
The gold Cessna, beam the orange dot. Start that right base now. Runway 27. You're clear to land. Land on the orange dot.
That's the tower we want. I'm having troubles with stuttering again, you guys. This could kill my sim. You see that? Oh. So now, the map, we didn't have time to show you the map. There's runway 27.9 this way. We got to go around toward the lake and come back at the runway and not go over the lake. Up ahead is a gravel pit right here. And there's a mall right here. We're going to go in.
Red Turkey over the gravel pit. Start your descent.
We're going to be going between the mall and the gravel pit, heading toward the lake. That's the plan. All right, and then let's have a look at our altitude here. And we'll start our descent as we get to the gravel pit, and we want to be able to hit past. We're going to use whatever color dot they say. We're going to go past that color dot. We're going to use the dot as our runway threshold. Clipped by Super Tie. Nice.
Gold Cessna. Once you're down and slow, turn off into the grass and follow 5 and welcome to the show.
So take a look, you guys. There's the gravel pit. I got to make my
Fire
turn.
red Cherokee, start the right turn, right base, runway 27. You clear the lane on the orange dot.
Between the mall and the gravel pit, there's where we want to be, right there. He should be telling me to rock my wings now as I come over the interstate here. And if he doesn't, I can't land. Come on, give me the call. Give me the call. I got to start my descent. I'm surprised he didn't have me rock my wings. Come on. I'm over the gravel pit. Let's see what my speed's like. There we go. We're in the flap range. Clip lords. Please tell me to rock my wings. Please.
White and red Cessna with the gravel pit, start your descent.
I am. He didn't tell me to rock my wings.
No, they don't.
Thought they would. Just so you know, just so he knows I can hear him.
White and red Cherokee, once you're slowing down, make a turn off into the grass, follow 5 and welcome to the show. White and red Cessna passing the orange dot, start your base turn now, runway 27, clear to land on the orange dot.
Clear to land, so I can't say it. I want to say it.
Inbound over Miller's Bay.
I want to say it, but I can't say it. Yeah. So we just got to crank it
And
around.
Big Ford, Roger. Call me, make a right base for runway 27, report a 2 mile final.
What color dot did he give us, you guys?
Over, report 2 mile final. Big Ford.
Wasn't it green? See? Should pay attention. Going for green.
On Big Ford, you know what, you can go direct to the numbers now. Direct to the numbers and runway 27, you're clear to land. Direct numbers, clear to land, Big Ford.
Big
White
Ford.
and red Cessna, turn off into the grass, follow the flag button, welcome to the show.
Right on. That's him talking to me. And there's no marshals because I'm using software light, you guys. Right off onto the grass. And, well, maybe there's some static marshals. But anyway, we'll just follow these pylons around the grass. Like this. Believe it or not, this is the proper procedure. Yeah, it was orange dot. Okay, good. Hey, there we got some marshals. Look at that. Over that way. Okay, I'll go this way. Nice. So we do have some.
Black and red Bonanza. You're going to be number 2 following a big Ford. Continue your downwind. I'll call your base.
No marshals here, but
Black and red Bonanza. If you see the big Ford, rock your wings again for me. You'll be number 2. Follow them into the runway.
I don't think we go down this far. Down to here.
Black and red Bonanza. Follow the big Ford in. Runway 27. You're clear to land. You can land on the orange
green.
dot.
Landed on green. Was orange first? Nobody confirmed. Should have been listening instead of talking on stream. Probably down to here. Yep, end of the runway. Yeah, I can see the pylons now. But I don't see any... Hey, someone's coming in on a Connie. So when he talked about the big... he talked about big Ford. There's a big Ford, small Ford, right? And that's the 2 different Ford tri-motors that they have. And I'm just going to guess we're going around here. There's no marshals. I'm going to go back around and park it. But I won't be taking off again, you guys, because we ran out of time. But you saw the takeoff already. And this is actually part of the proper procedures. If you look at the NOTAM, on how,
Big Ford, you can follow the flagman. Yeah, I'll talk to you in a little bit. See you later. Black and red Bonanza, follow the flagman, and you have a good day. Welcome to the show.
so even if you land at the green dot, he's cleared you for an earlier one, so you're landing further on, that's still fine. You would have taxied down there anyway. So that's not as important as do you have enough runway. I landed at the further one, the green one, which was in the middle of the, like halfway down the runway. My plane can land halfway down, no problem. That's not a problem. They're not going to ding you on that, but they'll have someone behind you. So if you went to the earlier dot instead of the later one, that could be a problem, because they did clear someone before me to the dot before me. You don't want to be crowding the guy behind you. I'm going to come over here to parking. And pitch a tent, you know. So let's do a quick recap here. Let me just move myself out of the way here. And you can see here, we registered or logged into Pilot Edge, and we went there and pulled down all the stuff we needed. We configured the client. We download both sceneries because you'll probably end up picking the light scenery. Later on, put in the heavy one and use your drone camera and look around if you want. Just leave your plane parked and see all the beautiful stuff that they've got added in there in the heavy scenery. I'm still calling it NOTAM here. Install, now without connecting to Pilot Edge, start up and depart 36, which we did. Head to your first insertion point on the FISK approach. I used Green Lake to show you how to do that. Adjust to scenery light if need be. So the idea here was I checked my frames and made sure in my demonstration I just kept it at light and kept going from there. Again, it wasn't connected to Pilot Edge, but I'm practicing the insertion points. I did one insertion point and a sloppy into FISK, and then turned on FISK Avenue. And I still adjusted the frequencies. I should have had both frequencies ready. If they sent us up the railroad tracks, then I would turn to that frequency. If they told us to go to FISK like they did, I would just button that frequency. And that's the way you should do it instead of messing around. After these 7 steps, you're fully prepared for your live Pilot Edge sessions over the 4 days. But make sure you still do all 4 insertion points and all 4 runways. Because the 18 is the craziest, because you're actually going onto the field and then turning around, coming back. So there it is, the 7 steps to practicing at Oshkosh. A lot of my lessons that I do on Tuesday evenings on Twitch live are the 7 steps to learning a new airplane, things like that. So I use the same kind of procedure. The 7 steps will help you to prepare so that you're fully confident, and you can even help other people. All right, now keep in mind that maybe I should just leave it on autopilot to keep that 1800, to keep that 90 knots, and then just use your heading indicator to turn when you need to. That would work fine too, and that would be less workload on the pilot. In real life, that's the same thing. You can do the same thing, but try to stay over that railroad track is important. Follow the directions of the controller. Do not speak back on the mic. And that's the hardest part for me as a pilot. When they gave me clearance to take off, I wanted to repeat my clearance. I'm used to that. I was hovering over the mic, about to press it. Oh yeah, we don't say anything. When they cleared me over the intersection to come in and land, cleared to land 36 yellow dot, I wanted to press the button to say clear to land 36 yellow dot. So the normal things you're used to, we don't do, because it would just create more radio chatter and slow them down from talking to the next person. So this is why they do this. They've been doing this for a long time, you guys, and they've got it perfected. And that's what we need to learn. Study that, notice inside out, make sure you understand no matter what's going to happen, no matter where they send you, you can handle it confidently and keep control of your airplane at the same time. My name's Howard Forder of ForderLearnToFly. This has been a blast. I hope you have fun with it too. Practice off the network, practice off of Pilot Edge, and be relaxed and understand it fully before you actually jump in. And now you hear it live. Look out. So this is, I'm Howard from ForderLearnToFly. This is something that, we've been doing for years. You wouldn't know it by that demonstration of my my FISK approach, my FISK Avenue approach. But this is something that will come easier with time and practice. And that's why I'm suggesting practice, practice, practice. I am a member of EAA for a lot of years now. I'm also a member of the Society of Aviation and Flight Educators. I have courses on udemy.com for fixed wing, helicopter, IFR, etc. And I've been a member and a captain of the Flight Simulation Association for forever. Over here you can see ForderLearnToFly on Twitter X for any notifications of things that are coming up. And come to our Discord server for any discussions on anything. Tons of people are there sharing ideas, pictures, flight plans, etc. And we shall see you again in the next demonstration lesson video.